Of the committee members. Would you like to start?
Whalen here.
Lyon here.
Sorry here.
Anderson here.
All right. And then we need an adoption of the agenda.
Adams here.
Oh, sorry.
Adams here.
I move to adopt the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Approval of the 11/4/2025 regular meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we're good then, right? You don't- Okay, all right. Public comment. Call-in number is 715-538-1894. 715-538-1894. And while we're waiting for any public comment, we're going to go into the Great River Road if Jeannie is on, but I don't see her.
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are, girl.
Morning, Jeannie.
Yeah. Hi. I'm sorry. I got a nasty cold, so I'll just make this quick. Our cover is done. We just have to vote on it. We are working on getting people for February to go to Illinois. And Lori, I sent that to you, but I'll resend it again.
Oh, good.
And we're just getting things ready for the 2026 season, and that's it.
All right, good job. Lexi, can we roll into the communications report?
Yes. Okay, so first up is our social media report. Our YouTube is up 30 subscribers. Our tourism Facebook is up 38. The government Facebook page is up 13. And then our Instagram account is up 12. We saw a lot of traction on the tourism page, highlighting Ettrick this past weekend. That one was good. So I have a plan for the rest of the communities for a winter reel like that. Update on the visitor's guide. Lori, I think we need to connect on that unless you're going to give me an update. And then I'm meeting with Lynn from Pilch and Burnett on Thursday.
On Thursday?
Yeah.
Great. If you want, hook me up and I'll
Okay.
join if that will help.
Okay.
You bet if I can do it, I sure will.
And then,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've been in a lot of new meetings, so getting to know people. This week, I'm meeting with Explore Lacrosse. Actually, I think that's tomorrow for grants for small businesses
Awesome.
to see their program and see what we could implement here. And then I've been on the Great River Road marketing and promo meetings, Arctic meetings, the RORP meetings, noting, which will tie into the next one, that there's the MRRPC meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. here. And then I've also been meeting with Travel Wisconsin and some of their webinars, and then met the city administrator for Whitehall.
Wonderful.
Lexi, do you want any board members at the MRRPC meeting tomorrow that's here in Whitehall, or is that something closed?
It is not closed, but I would defer to Jack and Becky. I don't actually know much about it.
Okay.
I think they've done most
I
of the
just
work
saw it on the
prior.
agenda, so I was checking. I've got a meeting at Lincoln Township, so I'll be in the area is what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
I think from past meetings, I think whoever came in, like, there's many different opinions when it comes to outdoor recreation. So I think whatever input, if you are free to attend, feel free to.
More curious than anything else. I've seen it advertised pretty heavily, so I thought that it was something of a high priority.
Has that plan been tentatively approved? Is that the purpose of tomorrow night's meeting? I haven't followed that email chain real well. But I think that plan is pretty much getting near a final stage, so anybody that wants to offer comment to it, now is the time to put the input to it. And it's kind of an umbrella plan. It's not a lot of detail in it. I thought one of the things that was missing out of it was, I didn't see a real strong, correct me if I'm wrong, if you've looked at it, water trails weren't really very much focused, and it was more land-based trails that they were talking about. Have you?
Yeah, someone called that out on the last meeting. Someone called that out on the last meeting.
Okay.
That those were missing, but I don't know what the action was.
Yeah, I think we should bring that up, especially with our interest, and
Yeah.
Right.
especially with the lower Chippewa Riverway and the Black. I mean, we've got all these big rivers in this area, and it seems like water trails would have been a significant component, especially the national parks interest and the chip through the Eau Claire area and stuff, so.
Yeah, yeah, we can definitely bring that up, Buzz,
I'll
and
try and make it road dependent.
I did see, different, I'm not sure what meeting it was, but I did see different trails given at one point on the latest update. If it wasn't in there, I wasn't aware, I wasn't at that meeting. But we can definitely make that a focus
Okay, I don't know.
tomorrow.
I thought that was kind of a mission.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on that? And that is tomorrow night, Jack, at
6.
6.
The only other thing I was just gonna touch on is I'm also meeting with Lynn from Pilch and Barnett for business guidelines for what we're approving to post on socials. So,
I'm sorry, was that regarding what?
business guidelines, like if there's, to make sure that they're in Trempealeau County so that we have it if someone has any questions about how I'm approving what we're posting.
Yeah, we will work on that and put something together so that Lexi never has an uncomfortable discussion again, so that it's all laid out and there's no issues whatsoever. So
Oh,
I did have a conversation yesterday, and I think we've got a really super good plan. I get it from all sides, and I think it's something that, with Lexi's know-how, we're gonna put together a lot of cool things. I think one of the big things is doing more low and no-cost marketing by partnering and putting packages together. So I think that would be more helpful to do some low and no-cost marketing, and then have Lexi's piece more about kind of a earned marketing kind of thing. So, but we're gonna have a little meeting and make sure that we are all on the same page on that one. So I think it'll be fun, it'll be great, and I think it's something that by getting, 25 key players all working together, business owners that are movers and shakers, I think we can do a lot with that whole social media stuff. And, Donald Driver's kids taught me how to be a 500 million follower in TikTok, so I'm pretty sure I can do it, even though I don't actually have it on my phone yet, but. So I think there's a lot of fun things that we can do, and Lexi, you've been doing an amazing job on all of that, so, and she's gonna call if she needs any help on that in the future.
Yes, ma'am. That's all I have.
Sounds great.
Thanks,
Perfect.
Lexi.
Wonderful. Jack, park report.
Just give it a minute. All right, looks like it went through. So Bob had requested a porta potty at the park, so we got that. Fane dropped those off on the 1st and got the bathrooms kind of closed out, winterized nicely. Helgeson did a good job out there. And then moving on to the natural play area, I don't have a ton to share this month, but I did share an update with you guys as related to timeline. I think there's going to be much more movement in the plan in January, like we discussed last meeting. So
Can you
we
define
didn't
that a
read.
bit, Jack?
What's that?
What kind of movement?
We're talking about funding. We have to go to exec finance, and we have to come back to here with a more concrete plan. We still are working some things out internally and with Phil on design, so we do have to, figure those things out before we can, present something that's formal.
Do we know the amount that we're dealing with, that we have access to?
So there's funds in question that Becky and I, there's some business-related stuff or the park. So those funds for CapEx are kind of in flux. We've also touched on some things in regard to fundraising. So we do have some framework stuff for that. And then we've also touched on some things of like a Friends of group. So an email communication did go out for that. And with our county's donation policy, I think that's something that we really, really have to think about, especially a project of this extent. I was just on a meeting for the Trempealeau Parkland yesterday, and they basically have a group, like a steering committee, that also functions as a Friends of group. So like some of those things that I had touched on last meeting with wanting to, put all, like, we need to do an outdoor recreation plan, we need to think about a Friends of group. Like, we can, water trail related, we can meld some of these together, try to find a good group of 6 or 7, and then, think about their time so that we're not, doing too many meetings, but we do have some things that need to be ironed out, so,
Do we have a Friends of group now? I thought we did.
no.
That never got organized?
It never got organized. So there was some stuff back in like 2016. They put some brochures out, and I don't think they got ever enough interest for it to ever get off the ground. And that's kind of at the state I am right now. I sent out like a group email, but mainly was trying to communicate through calls. And basically, the next step will be one-on-ones with some of these people, and getting some actual commitment, so I can explain why all of this stuff kind of ties together and why it's so important.
Is the problem we have with the county accepting donation a statutory thing or a policy thing that the county board could change?
Sounds like with conversation with Susan, it's really more, related to statute rules on
So, that's state statutes that counties can't.
municipal.
There's also some 501c3 things when people are donating.
Right.
They're gonna want
They're gonna want
tax
that.
exempt,
Yeah.
tax
You really do
exempt.
need to set up that, like, foundation or have something to run it through. You can't get raffle licenses, you can't do any of that kind of stuff legally without doing that, so.
So, just wanted to touch on that so you guys kind of know what's going on. I know you guys were expecting some kind of update this meeting, so it will be something that I think goes to exec finance where we talk about overall Petrick Park improvements. So we have some time of dollar figure and timeline, so we just do need a little bit more time to do
Didn't we
that.
have an initial dollar figure, going back to Renee's question, though, of, what was that?
804.
804?
We have a cost share grant that we received, tentative award letter for at half the cost. So we have 402 identified, and then that half and how we fund it, still in question.
And Jeff,
CapEx funds
we'll
might be a
able to-
possibility.
We'll be able to look at that prior to it going anyplace else, right? What we're proposing
What's that?
for the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And I think that's part of next month's meeting too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Do you have experience, Jack, with the 501c as far as for the setup, or do we go right to Susan with that?
It's gonna be something I have to go to Susan for.
I was gonna say, because I've been very involved in 4 or 5 of them. There's a lot of work that's involved that
There
you
really
gotta
is.
make sure you ask for assistance on that, because there's people that have done these many times with the 501cs, but they're real important for us to fundraise, especially.
Yeah, I've been in conversations with, I got a snowmobile meeting tonight, and they've been going back and forth from a 3 and 4, and, it does, definitely seems like a lot with bylaws, mission statement. It's all of this,
It
but you're
is,
just,
yeah. And then-
doing it in
yeah.
a condensed version.
And then you have to get a group that they'll allow to use it, because business could never get a 501c3.
Well, that'd be illegal.
Yeah, very, very.
Something like the county alliance couldn't take this on?
What is the county alliance?
County Alliance of Sportsmen's Clubs? We talked to them.
Associated Club, they
Yeah.
do have that group where they all meet. That's a decent
Yeah.
idea.
I would think about that a little bit, because it gets pretty messy when legally, you're not supposed to have another organization fundraising
And they're,
outside.
more
Out-
thinking about those 10 clubs that are in the county
Yeah.
instead of the county park, so. Right?
I've dealt with it before with other groups where I volunteered to manage the accounts, and it gets so messy, and so
yeah.
it's hard to keep everything straight where the priorities are, because we want the Petrick Park to be the priority.
Right.
And that group has other visions and goals as far as what their priority is, so I believe that it would be important that we do establish a 501c3, otherwise, I know there's a lot of things that you grant-wise you apply for, you can't
Yes,
get
you cannot
unless you
get,
have
right.
the proper 501cs.
Seems
Yeah.
like we have lack of interest, though, to get the group going.
Sort of. I do have a good group of interested individuals. Sent them out a big email, and then had some phone conversations with kind of each of them beforehand. But like I said, it needs to get to that next stage of meeting with these people one-on-one and explaining why these things tie together and why it's important for our county.
Sounds good. I think that'll be good, but.
Sounds good. I
But
mean, I don't
please-
have a problem with it. It's just, I'm thinking about, we've been kicking this can down the road for about 4 years now. And, we got $400,000 sitting on the table. I don't wanna see that go away.
Yep. It's all, I think, got to get sorted out by next month. At least what we're going to be doing for certain.
Well, Jack, why don't you send us an email as soon as you get kind of some ideas, so that we're prepped and ready to go at the next meeting.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
And then I did have a timeline of what I am kind of gathering based on this month that I did kind of update you guys on in this paragraph, where I think it's kind of veering toward adding an additional phase and getting our groundwork kind of developed in that first phase in 26, and then planting trees. And then basically, we're not adding any natural play area stuff until spring of 27. It's just kind of what it's looking like from when we'll receive the grant letter. But there is other things, like the roads, that we can identify beforehand. So that's kind of explained in this paragraph, and we do have a site on our park page that is for the project that was developed about 6 months ago. I'll move on to urban forestry year 2. We did receive that grant at $2,500. So that, like I said, will go along with those trees, hopefully, for the natural play area. And we're anticipating about 40 well-established trees. And then, if you guys haven't seen anything on the Blair Alma transmission line project, there is a map attached. They might have some type of decision here come spring 26. So that's just something to keep an eye on. But the north route does run adjacent to the park. You can see that red line going on Elk Rod and Gun Club property. But you see that green area as a work zone that does run into the park. Not anticipating anything that's going to hindrance us at all, but we'll kind of see. It's a transmission line project that's $180 million, so
You never know.
you never
They
know.
might take that north route?
It's still up for discussion. I think I don't want to say for certain that they're favoring either or. But yeah, did receive those communications, so did kind of want to keep you guys on the loop
Can I?
there.
Do you have a map of where the two projected lines go?
So that is, they do have if you go on Dairyland Power's website, they do have both of those routes. I didn't include that with this.
I just bring it up and saying, with this committee, like if you look where Jack shared the picture right here, it'll come right down the highway and jump over right across from the park. There is a different route where it jumps across the highway and it goes up north and around, so it's not next to the park. If this committee feels like that's a better route, I think this is the opportunity now before they've made the decision, like people would need to contact the PSC and saying, we'd really like you to do, it's gonna cost them more, so yes, they want to go the route, but they do make those considerations depending on, issues like this. I think these are the great big ones,
They're the great big ones.
aren't they? Yeah, they're the high.
These are the-
These are
the
the high
high line ones.
transmission lines, yeah,
These are the ones they put up with the helicopters.
yeah, yeah. So it's,
What's your recommendation, Becky?
well, I mean, ideally, with the park right there, I wouldn't think you'd want those right next to the park.
Well, and the one thing that we would definitely want to talk to them about would be the perceived income loss, because you know, they would also have to understand if you take a certain area off of the park, that's gonna limit us on something else, so.
The aesthetics, people
The
concerned about
aesthetics is-
safety.
Right.
Is this something we should make a motion to collectively, if we're collectively agreeing on suggesting the northern route? And then maybe after that, is this something that we request a sit-down or a visit to
Could
communicate more?
We could either include it in on the agenda next month or put it as a future agenda item.
Let's do
Well,
it
I'm
next-
talking
yeah.
about a motion today.
Yeah, let's do it.
Can we if it's not on the
I
agenda?
don't,
Oh.
because it's not on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
So can we do?
But
oh,
if you
so-
wanted to give direction to Jack to pen a letter, right, that would be from the committee. Could bring that back next month and saying it's from the committee, and in the meantime, he could contact them and saying maybe they would come to the next meeting, or I don't know if they would or not.
Yeah,
Maybe
there
set
was
it-
one guy that was kind of.
What is the timeline for that?
March 26th, they might decide on the route.
Oh, well, then we
should
should get in, yeah.
sooner than later.
Yes.
I mean, we're gonna invest close to $1 million in upgrades to the park.
Yep.
And then you're putting like a heavy industrial figure across the road from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
And then
definitely
we're
gonna
marshal this
affect the
at least
aesthetic.
If we don't put the ask out there.
Right.
Just a suggestion, could we put something together for this committee and maybe a resolution to county board to support that change for Monday night, and we could have our little meeting prior to the Monday night county board meeting?
You put it on county board agenda.
Well, put it on there, but we would have one prior to send that resolution
send
to
the-
county
Send the
board.
resolution to the full board?
Probably at 6:30 meet or something, have another
In this
meeting.
committee. Rich.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sure,
You talk about the December meeting? Yeah,
this coming Monday.
yeah, oh,
the 15th.
do we, our timing, what's that like?
Wonder, can you want to wait till the January meeting and have it on the January board meeting? I don't know.
Because the gra-
I
they'll
get
give
the
us-
urgency. Yeah, it's up to you guys on how you want to go about it, but
But at the same time, we want
But
time
yeah,
to
January.
draft the resolution and the letter and
You gotta have
everything.
Susan review it
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
just, I know her time.
And then it would be good for us to get some background on specifics, because it looks like we don't know exactly where it's going and the alternatives, and we should do some homework.
Yeah, we
do it-
should-
do it in
That's a good
January?
idea.
January is my
Rich, to-
recommendation.
to-
That's soon enough, that's fine.
Yeah,
okay.
Then we can have the maps ready to show you the differences and things on where they're, yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to rodeo security deposit. I mentioned to you guys last committee meeting as an agenda item that we were thinking about charging them for the damage that they done to the grounds at the horse arena. So did kind of let the rodeo group know that, and I'd like to meet with everyone before we actually formally charge them. But I did include a cost estimate with you guys and some pictures, so I just thought that was the best way to kind of communicate this damage. So we'll just go through these quick. Lot of different structural things that were on the grounds. And he did have 4 events out there, and they were during a couple rainy weekends. So obviously, he didn't want to be charged that whole 900. I do have a meeting scheduled with Corp Council about this matter, so we're gonna figure out how to address this formally. But there is a meeting with the horse people. The whole kind of thing back in March 25 was we wanted the horse group people, Connie Guza, and Ricardo and them to kind of work together on dual collaboration and messaging. It's one thing to say that, it's another thing to do. I was supposed to be sort of the middleman, and it just ended up being kind of requests to me. So I want to try to get Connie and Ricardo and them on the same page. Get a cork board in front of the horse arena and have it dual purposed. So horse info on one side, rodeo info on the other. So it can be, of dual use. And hopefully everybody's happy. And horse people, I say, were a little upset with the rodeo people. And here's that estimate from Posty For 3 loads of screening in the middle, $900. Then we'd have the rodeo group spread it out. Because if we were to have post D, you know, get it to spec how they thought, it might be close to $2,000.
Jack, I'm a little lost on this damage. Was that created not intentionally, correct?
Right, not intentionally, during a couple rainy weekends during rodeo events.
Okay.
So they just tear it up?
Well, I think it's more for that, all that stuff that he's bringing in, like the food truck. He brings in like food trucks, a bullpen, so trucks go onto this ground. And that's what a lot of these ruts are from,
It's
like
inside
dirt.
the arena.
Everything's kind of inside. So they bring everybody in, and then they have bleachers kind of on both sides of the arena. And then there's a bullpen in the middle, and then a stage towards the back. And basically everything in front is like inflatables, food, you name it.
So what do they do?
Pop-up
Somebody
stands.
just gotta come and till and grade this thing, or is it material replacement, or what is?
So what we're planning on doing is having Post D drop 3 loads of screening right in the middle of the arena, and then having the rodeo group go out and spread it themselves to save a little bit of money, and then bringing in Connie once they think they're done to make sure it's good for arena use for horses.
In addressing it, just so you know, that arena has had traditional problem with being compacted. And what the compaction is, it's just there's too much weight and too much compression. And this is added to that compaction so that and you probably, it doesn't look like much, but what happens is when you're in an event or you're practicing, the horses will slide and they'll skid, and it's compressed, so it needs to have something added to the ground to give aeration, to give you a little particle spacing. So this damage has not assisted, it's made it worse, of course, when you're knocking it down like that. Anytime you're putting heavy equipment on it, that's probably their main concern. I haven't spoke with the horse group. I just know traditionally in the past, the criticism of using the arena was it was too slick. Yep.
Was it in an area that they were not supposed to be? Because if not, and we've got an issue with the foundation itself, then we need to bring that up to standards so people can utilize it. I mean, if it was an intentional act or a place where they weren't supposed to be, then I can see charging somebody. But if it's outside of that, I can't see it.
Well, the arena is supposed to be used for the animals. They use it for something other than the animals, is what I believe the horse group is concerned about. That arena is designed and built for performance of horses, bulls, whatever else is in there. If it's used for something else, yeah, that's damage. As far as for compacting the soil down, as far as that's, I'm just trying to look at it from the view of the horse people and a guy who rides in that arena. It's slick. And every time you've ridden in it, it's been slick. It doesn't have it.
It's dangerous, which you're not saying, but it's dangerous for the person using it.
I've gone down on horses in there.
If I'm on a barrel horse out there, that's a rocket.
Yeah, that's bad when it's compacted and it needs to have it. And this addition will help it. I don't think all damage is due to use by the rodeo, but I do believe that they have contributed to the use of the additional damage.
Okay.
I'm wondering if, commenting more on your concern there, Rich, I'm wondering if these are like two separate issues, not separate, but one where, I'm looking at some of these tire tracks, and it looks like this wasn't from the normal use by horses. It looks like it's more like a vehicle that got stuck and they're digging in. And so maybe that's something that they certainly could fix. But maybe we should be looking at increasing the down payment for the use of this, because for maintenance. I'm thinking that we will have an annual maintenance thing. I know nothing about arenas, but you guys seem to. But maybe this is something we should be talking about on an annual basis.
Or do we have any policy or rules that they have to abide by, or what the result is if there is this kind of damage?
They sign a special event,
Huh?
large gatherings
They
permit.
do, okay, that's
Is this addressed in that permit that they have to restore it after each event?
Yes, there is something, so damage to the grounds is addressed. There isn't a fee associated on the application. So I came up with this application at the start of '24 when we had our first event. It's a fluent document, and an event like this, I'd say is uncommon for a county, but it is a good event, and it kind of fits with our community that's by the park. So it is kind of a lot to get a legal document right for this type of event. But I think in this year 3, we've seen enough between the last 2 years and having, 6, 7 events out there to where we kind of know a few more things. And I think that large gatherings document, if I do corrections on it, it does have to go back to this committee. So I'm anticipating doing some corrections, and I like the idea of like some type of maintenance thing for the security deposit. Maybe formalize that security deposit a little bit more on addressing, yearly maintenance concerns. But right now, how the security deposit sits is 1,000 we're holding from him right now. So that 900 would get addressed in that security deposit, and he'd get 100 back.
I guess there's a bigger concern. I'm listening to Kevin, and Kevin is making it sound like, are they creating it unusable by the horse group in between events?
That's what Connie thinks. Yeah.
I'm just expressing what other individuals have
And if
expressed.
that's the concern, then we need to address that. That annual concern doesn't address that. They need to get this
After every event. yeah.
after every event.
Yeah.
If you had a horse that was out there without having it tilled and he twisted his leg, his
Yeah,
foot
it's-
going into one of those
bad.
roots, and it was on a 9-year-old that was starting horse, 4-H horse, I would be concerned as far as our liability.
So I have I completely agree, but not that I want to change the subject, 'cause I think that's
Go ahead.
very, very important. But I'm looking at some of the ruts, is that in the arena area that, like,
All
for
arena
instance?
area
So
within the
would you
arena.
typically drive vehicles across that?
I'd say no.
Not
In
during
the
a horse
past,
show.
no. Prior to '23, there was nothing like that.
So are
It
they
was-
they're able to go around the arena?
And we do have some horse trails that are right next to this arena, and we are going to be investing in a horse camping site in between the trails and the arena next year. So that's why it's a real consideration for me. If Ricardo isn't willing to work with Connie, we can't keep working with him.
Yeah, this seems like it could have been avoided if they would have just stayed off the arena with the big vehicles.
And for the local rodeo that we have in Arcadia, we take care, that's part of the agreement, is we return it to the original condition because it's on private property. And basically, we make one pass. During an arena, traditionally, you would make passes to loosen up the performance floor for perfs, and that's what you're doing, is getting it back to the original. It doesn't look like when they concluded their performance that they worked the arena up again.
Do we need machinery to do that? I know nothing
Well,
about
I'm
this,
just
obviously.
wondering, the Arcadia agreement, could we take a look at that and then just add it to our agreement language?
It's specific to the state high school. It's got materials that you don't need in there because it's the state high school. That's basically, it's a show for the Wisconsin State High School Rodeo.
But does it have methodology to maintain the arena?
It's more common sense. It's the tradition that you've always returned it back to the original state.
So then how do
It's
you
not
do that? Do you need machinery to do that?
At the high school rodeo in Arcadia, every performance, every 5 runs, you run the equipment across the,
Okay.
it's not where.
Yeah, that would be I like that, like,
Every 5 performances, if you're doing barrels, and it sits right there at
Like
Dave
maintenance is
Taysom's. You bet.
expected.
Yes.
Yeah,
every
it's
year,
always
you know?
expected, and
You
Dave
could
drives
add
the
that,
tractor or somebody else
And
does.
maybe he invests in the
guess,
piece of
yeah.
equipment
It's
to.
yeah.
Could.
I think
Yeah,
you'll
that
need,
makes sense to me.
if you
Yeah.
want it to be used as a performance arena, you'd need equipment for maintaining it.
Yeah.
45 days.
But I do have to apologize, I have a service to attend, so with regrets.
How often has,
Kevin.
how often how many years have they been here?
It's been around since 2008.
2008, the rodeo has?
The horse arena,
How about the rodeo?
since '24.
How many
24?
performances last year?
It's been 4 both years,
Okay.
so 8 total. So he'd be in line for something maintenance-wise if we're following what, Arcadia High School does.
Well, if you've got the deposit and there's issues, why can't you just,
I'll address that with Susan. I think,
Yeah.
it's gonna be, it's looking like it's gonna be that way. It was significant damage.
Well, I
It
think
looks like we need
though,
an update to the permit language.
That too.
Requires something
yes.
after
Yeah.
each event.
right, because this is
Restoration.
one time at the end, and we're saying we want it cleaned up after every, and we can't charge them 900 each time because we don't even have that much of a security deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. The bridge, what's the damage there?
The bridge.
Yeah, the picture of the bridge there. Or is it the dirt in front of it? No.
What do you mean, bridge?
If you go further down, there's a bridge over the stream. Maybe that's something else, but yeah, you keep going, it's further.
Bridge within the arena?
You know what, this might be something else.
Oh,
Okay, my
yeah, that's for
apologies.
the, that's for
It
the
isn't a part of
snowmobile.
this. Got it.
Oh,
It's all right.
on the same, yeah.
And then lastly here, apologize, just have a layout of our campsites. Thought that would be good to address with you guys. There was some conversation last meeting about what are we gonna do going forward, so I did want to provide a baseline of what I'm planning right now for '26. These rates kind of get updated within the month, and that's kind of what we have active right now in our camp spot. Some of these are just Ashley sites, so people can sign up online. And then there's 4 categories of, daily rates for people to sign up from. But we can move on.
Do you have anything else?
Not for the park report.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. And then the security camera installation.
We're on park and outdoor recreation
Oh,
priorities.
sorry.
So just this top 5 quick is natural play area, research, planning, communications, we addressed that. Osseo Golf Course Bridge, that did get installed about mid-November. It's great for the golf course, and we were able to use a county grant since it was on a snowmobile trail. So it's good for the community, good for the golf course, and I was very glad I was able to work with Steve Durham, the Public Works Director, on the project. Turned out great. Anderson Bridge did a nice job. $89,000 bridge just through 2 grants. Right now, Osseo approved this through their city council, I believe, during last month's meeting. Still waiting on Steve to get me signatures. He was kind of struggling on where he's going to get this $89,000 on a city budget. So they had to address paying for the bridge, and they'll be reimbursed, but it is on their property and they'll benefit in the long run. It is on the golf course too, so that's all, that reimbursement reporting stuff is getting worked out, but I'm excited how the bridge turned out, and this is a section of trail that's gonna possibly open up things for tourism and businesses in Osseo. This section of trail hasn't been open for decades. And it's right in the city, so I'm excited about that being something new and it being on the most, kind of adjacent to the most popular trail in the county with the Buffalo River State Trail. Think it's going to be a great thing for Osseo in the long run.
Are they gonna do something to that service so the studs on the snowmobiles don't tear that decking up?
rubber mats or something down?
Mostly, I know on the state trails, when you bike on them, they all got rubber mats on them.
I don't think they'd put rubber mats on the golf course one.
Well, I
What
know
exact-
why, because golf carts probably don't like it,
No.
but the snowmobile trail, they're gonna tear that decking right off of there, if it gets used.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't seen rubber mats on a lot of the bridges I've reviewed over
Really?
the past couple of
I've
years.
seen them tore up on the state trails when I biked on them.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of torn up bridges. So maybe I can address that tonight and just see what those guys do.
Well, if you just put a new bridge in, I mean,
Yeah,
I know where there's a huge source of sandbelt rat
Mm-hmm.
that they would have access to from somebody in Osseo.
yeah.
Haven't talked to Nels, the steam engine guys got rolls of that stuff they put on there.
So last three things here, end of season procedures, address that, Friends of group, and then looking more into a facilities and park department with Jeremy. He'll be my supervisor in January. So it'll be a good kind of movement and have those hands maybe available outside on a rotating basis sometimes.
Could you expand on that? I don't know who Jeremy is.
Sure. Yep. So he's our facilities director.
For the county?
For the county.
Okay.
And we're going to be moving into a facilities and parks department starting in the new year.
Okay, so you'll get shifted into a new department then, okay.
Yep. And we will have some, I guess, there'll be a position that's mixed between UW Extension and Jeremy and I, helping address some admin stuff. So very happy to get another person on some computer work. Now we can move on to the security cameras.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Do you need
Security
to say
camera,
that? Okay.
yes.
So, this first thing here, Susan did want me to address like a discussion item, for these security cameras so we can talk if there's any questions. But basically, we had some tabled funds with CapEx that need to get readdressed. And we voted last committee meeting to get these cameras, and then it was said that we've got to readdress funding. So basically, we dealt with those tabled funds with exec finance on the first. And basically, we've got 3 different locations at Petrick between the claw shelter, the maintenance shed, and then an LPR for our existing camera. And then we can kind of decipher with those improvement planning I was talking about later on where we might need some additional cameras or at least think about it. So that all kind of went through. Exec finance approved the vote for $16,815 for the 3 cameras in need right now. And there's some more discussion that popped up during that conversation about those CapEx funds I addressed. There's $146,000, which would be a good chunk of that 402 that we need. So we'll kind of see what I can pull together next month between, security cameras, natural play area, Petrick Park improvements, friends of, so you kind of meld some of this stuff together and get an actual plan on how we're moving forward concretely. So that's kind of where it's at. So I did want to just, if you guys had any questions or if anyone wanted to comment more.
Yes, I would just, the conversation is, when I worked with Dave previously, when Dave was here, we had looked at identifying part of those funds for an economic development fund and to help small business startup as well as downtown redevelopment. There's a grant at WEDC at the state, and there was some conversation about applying as a match to that money so that the money would grow, and then we could work in partnership with communities to do some of these, small business opportunities and things for which is an area of trying to get business startup which is difficult. But anyway, so the exec finance committee is considering that as well as the PTED, and we had said part of the money to PTED, if you remember, and some of it to this economic development fund. So anyway, that's the other piece of the discussion.
So when we voted last month and we approved it, why is it that had to go to executive finance because I remember asking if we had the money into the budget, and I was told yes.
I
So-
thought we did. I didn't realize the funds were tabled, so that was,
Oh, okay.
that was my fault.
All right, no, that's fine.
Alrighty.
But I do have a question about this. So do we need to decide if, and maybe not, I'm just, maybe I'm confused about, do we have to apply some of this, make a decision to apply some of this money to economic development and some of this money to the park development?
I think the thing is right now is just to identify the security piece, because the exec finance committee is saying, yep, take some of that money and get the security done.
Okay.
Then the rest of the money is still for further discussion here and there, and,
Okay, so that can be addressed down the road?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you.
a little confused too. What total project cost on this bill we've got in front of us is $3,000 plus change? Did you say 16 grand?
Yeah, so we can go through the quotes of each camera. But
These are
for all,
independent, okay.
Right.
For all
No, I
8
don't need that
cameras.
yet.
Okay.
I didn't dig deep enough here.
we
You're good.
we did get those quotes extended, so they're good till the end of December.
Wonderful.
I'll make the motion, as long as I did last month, to move forward with it.
Yep.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, hearing none, motion's passed. All right, then, resolution, authorization to utilize capital expenditure funding for this, is that the same thing we just did?
Yeah, so do we need to read that resolution then if we're in, okay.
I don't think we do we?
But I think we need to sign it.
Yeah, we probably need to sign it,
definitely.
yes. So make sure we do that. And then authorization of sample request for the proposal of construction for a dual directional entrance signage at Petrie Park.
Correct. Thought Jeremy was gonna be here for this discussion. He did send me an email, so I'll apologize. I'm just gonna check that quick. Looks like he's in a finance meeting still.
That's fine, I think we can just,
Yeah, so he gave us a sample RFP that I printed out and gave to you guys. Basically, he wanted the committee to look at the sample RFP, and I'll pull it up here on, I guess, do we have anyone on? Yeah, Kevin's online and Jean.
yeah.
So I will share this so they can see it, but take a look at that sample that Jeremy provided right now.
Right. The only question that I have, Jack, and I don't know if it's addressed in here somewhere, are we going to get, say, 3 to 5 conceptual designs or something like that in one of these areas?
I asked Jeremy to identify that, and he thought it would be best to identify this language in the sample RFP first, and then go on to visuals ourselves for that RFP to get approved.
You'll want to put it in the RFP.
In the next one, yep, which I think is gonna, again, come up next meeting. So the actual RFP, this is just a sample, based on these options provided in the language here
Yeah.
that you see. He wanted the committee to decide on something. I don't know if we decide this right now, or if you guys want more time to review it.
Well, I guess give us what it is that you need decided, because I don't understand not asking for the conceptual designs and the scale and that kind of stuff right up front. Why would you wait on that?
Right,
do
that
another
was my question too.
Okay. So don't, let's just go ahead and ask for those things. Because, you have to have a visual, I think, anyway. I'm dumber than a box of rocks when it comes to looking at the drawings, so.
Exactly.
So they can, yeah.
So
So
that
if,
visual on the last page is what you're thinking that's lighted?
Yeah, so there is one visual at the end. I'll pull it up here.
right,
And are we
But-
fine with something like this? Because this is the only one he included.
remember all those examples that we had in the
And
past?
he
Was
must
there
have thought
one
this
I
one was the
picked that
best.
you liked?
Yeah, we looked, yeah.
I thought we had one we kind of picked, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
I mean, yep.
because it was either stone and we were so unsure about
Okay,
We might
what
have
the
picked them
stone was
apart.
gonna cost,
yeah, right.
and then the size and.
But he does get into more conceptual stuff and more planning stuff. in this RFP, so
I would set that right out there, Jack, right in the beginning, because if they can't, number one, if they can't supply you with those art drawings, they probably cannot do the job that we're gonna be looking for. So why don't you ask for that right away?
right, and this is just a sample, so I don't know if we
Understand,
can
I understood, but
go to an RFP. In authorizing that next meeting, it's up to you guys on how we do it, but if you guys want more, I understand that too.
I guess we'd like to know what we're buying, right?
Yeah,
That's
for
what you're
sure.
saying.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, definitely, and if you just throw that in there, I think that will help, and then we'll actually end up with, I mean, I think it's fine to go ahead and put this RFP out without further direction, as long as we get those 3 to 5 conceptual drawings, so we can choose from those from each vendor.
But
Is
there
there
has to be some input though, because otherwise they're gonna be like, well, what is it you're looking for? What do you want? So
Right, I think that they did a pretty good job of that in here as far as like saying what kind of materials that they're looking for. And the one thing I would put in here or include in there is how far, I guess how far, the distance that you can see it.
Speak of the
Yep.
devil, hi.
Yes.
That's okay.
You want me to start at the top?
Well, yeah, let's,
if you have questions or whatever, just let me know.
yep. I think all we're looking for, Jeremy, is if you can put together the RFP with making sure that we're getting 3 to 5 conceptual designs, a scale drawing, that kind of thing. And then maybe material samples, color renderings, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So we can actually get a good feel for what this is. And then we'll want to know, in this particular sign, and I know there's a term for it, and I'm not using it, but it's how far do you have to be able to see it?
Yeah, so right now, for the distances that are listed on here, it's, I just went, when Jack and I were out there last week, and I went to where the current sign currently is now,
Okay.
measured the distance from there to the railroad tracks, from there to the road.
So one of the things that we can do is, all of these sign companies can get you the numbers from, from DOT. That'll tell you like how many cars go by there, how fast are they going, and then where do you need to put that sign in
Yeah.
order to get optimal
Well, and I can't,
visibility.
either way, we can't go much closer than the numbers I have, because then we're beyond park property, beyond that. Because then you're
Railroad.
past the
Perfect.
fence, you're on the railroad property, or even on the easement on the side of the highway is gonna be too close. So I just took what was already there, kept that into account. At the most, we could probably go maybe 5 feet more forward, but
Right. But we certainly can
I'm
make
sure
it
that there
taller.
is an
Yeah.
encroachment for the railroad line, but we have a property line fence there anyway that we're
Sure.
not gonna go past regardless.
But we
So,
can certainly go taller,
Can go taller, correct.
sure.
I think taller would be better. You
Right.
know, Yeah.
And I think, again, you want to ask that question, how many miles is it, before you,
Now, unfortunately, it sits so far off of,
it does, so
Yeah,
it's probably
correct.
going to have to be tall,
Yeah. Jeremy, is there any way that you've had experience with signage and stuff? I noticed that I've been paying attention when I'm up and down 93. You just can't hardly catch the park entrance with those
Right.
small signs out on the highway.
Yep.
Is there a better way we could put something, get your head on, so you're looking for that sign out on the road or something?
Well, do we have one of the blue signs, the Todd signs?
You could think about one of those blue signs.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, there's just the regular road sign about a mile out, says Peach County Park, and then points left, and that's about a mile out on the side of the road, coming from, either from Indy or from Arcadia.
Is
But
there-
like Rich said, the actual entrance to the park is set so far back.
Right.
Exactly.
At night, like if we did this, it would be a little bit more noticeable, because it's gonna be
Right.
illuminated.
Right.
And it's gonna stand out in that dark section of 93, because you've got that, and then you've got a chicken coop or whatever it is right
Right.
across the road from it. But
Perfect.
during the day, unless you went bigger, but then you gotta understand, the bigger you go with the stonework, the cost of that is gonna go.
Yes, it is.
signage gonna be stationary? It's not where you can change something on there and say-
For the one that we're looking at now, no. And the reason that I picked this one is because it's gonna be the most visible coming from either direction, north or south on 93. We could make it so that eventually you could update it, but it's not gonna be like a marquee sign where you're gonna be pulling the letters on and off or anything like that.
Right.
No,
It's,
right. But I'm just wondering, because electricity going to it, I'm just wondering if you can, a lot of them are set up with a computer where you can put the dates, we got the road.
So, and that's on one of the specs here. So when I gave the electrical, there's two choices. My preferred choice on there was to tie in, we'd have to have, is it Dairyland Power, Xcel Energy, whoever it is there, mark out where the
Sure.
power comes in. They could pour a new pad where the sign goes, come up, put a new breaker and a new meter. And then at that point, we'd have future expansion if we wanted to do a digital marquee sign or something like that in the future. Now it's just enough for the lights, because other than that, you're looking at a 700-foot run. And to run 120 volts that far, here in the building, you got smaller wire. To run that, we're gonna have to go bigger wire, and that's why I know it's gonna be a more cost-effective and prudent solution to just do that. But then we'd have the ability to have power there
Right.
if
Right.
in the future you wanted to go with a more digital.
Yep, and your sign companies will come up with,
Well, and they're gonna try to get the most out of you at that point anyway. And if you go digital up front to begin with, then that's one thing. But then again, I'm trying to be as more cost-effective as possible. You go stonework, it's gonna be expensive. You start putting a digital screen that's visible from both sides, then it's
Yeah.
also going to be a significant cost on that. Plus
yeah.
the maintenance cost that runs along with running that sign. If we're just looking at 6 landscaping lights to illuminate it versus a digital display sign, then your costs are gonna go up for that as
Sure.
well, so.
sure. I'd like to see it both ways, just because, and I'm sorry, like I say, I'm putting on my little tourism hat here, but one of the things that, when you can change something, obviously on the sign, that is, like Rich mentioned, that's very valuable, but it also is very costly.
Yeah.
So I think, having both to kind of look at, I think would be great.
No, and that's fine,
And-
and that's
and
why
you'll be
this
able
is
to do
just
that.
a rough preliminary
Right,
of
no,
what you
this
guys
is
are
great.
wanting to do.
You did a great job, and I think all we need to add is those 3 to 5 conceptual designs, the scale drawings, the material samples and color renderings, and then if we can just make a note of whether it's going to be just illuminated or whether it's actually going to be a visual.
So
we
just
can
two
change.
choices on that one, so there'll be some changes. And I know Jack had started this project a while ago, and he had a couple different conceptual choices there for signage and stuff that we had looked at. So we'll just kind of go from there. And again, this is a good time to start this, because none of this work would be starting anyway
Correct.
until.
We'll have a little bit of time to
Until
look at it.
mid-spring, so we got time to get everything updated.
Awesome.
I was just gonna reiterate kind of a little bit. Lori said, if we're gonna spend $1 million, that's what we're really probably looking at by the time everything gets done out there. We shouldn't change on the signage,
Fair enough.
Yes, and I
Another
can.
10 grand, so what?
And
Yeah,
in comparison
unfortunately,
to the
unfortunately, 10
cost of the
grand, I
natural play
believe,
area,
is,
yes, I get that.
is like a little nut in the sign thing. I just got a quote for one for Champions, and it was $225,000.
That might be out of it.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, that's
was
where
a
we're
beautiful
just
sign.
doing our best to keep it realistic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
especially if
we-
eventually if the parks change and you start holding more events out there that
Yeah.
you're wanting to
Yep.
advertise at that point, because.
But Rich's his comment is very important, because you need to, even if we can't do it now, we need to be able to have the availability to do it down the road. One of the things that I would suggest is that you put on the agenda for next month, Jack, is that DOD sign. There's no reason not to have that. It's very cheap, or that Todd sign, I mean. It's very, I don't know, I think it's a couple $100 or something forever, so it's not that much. And it just basically, it's a little, blue sign that says, hey, you're coming up on this park,
Yeah.
the end,
Highway department probably would make them, I think.
I think it's a state thing, Rich, that you gotta, yeah, I think it's you have to fill out a form, and there's some kind of something. I think they want their 25
I'll reach
bucks or
out to
whatever it
Neil.
is. Yeah, figure it out.
CC,
It
I'll
might
Jack,
be,
I'll
yeah,
CC you
it
on
might
that
not
as
be, and it might be something totally simple.
I have a quick question, if I could. It talks about what we want on the signage. Petrie Park and larger bold, canoe landing, camping, picnic, and hiking trails. Do we want to put natural play area there?
And that's what this is for. This is what I needed your
Yep.
guys' input for, what
I
else
would
you're
add
wanting to
that in.
get, because that will also dictate the size of the sign on how much stuff
Sure.
you're wanting
Right.
to put on there.
Right.
So I don't know if there's, it's a park, do we want to?
Yeah.
Advertise,
So
Just a
that
thought.
was the 5th one that we addressed in a different discussion, I think a couple months back. So those four, and then including natural play area was what I was thinking, was advertising those 5 through icons.
That's a great idea. Perfect. All right, any other questions or thoughts on that? Then let's go ahead and move to the small gathering special event permit. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep, I gotta go back to
Thanks,
the slide.
Jeremy. Jack, you have some
Yeah.
possible.
So, basically, this was addressed by Bob last meeting. We couldn't address it because it wasn't on the agenda. So I wanted to try to provide some clarification as to what's an SOP and what's on our ordinance. And so I did provide our Chapter 5 ordinance. That does need to be updated. Last time it was updated was 2016. But there is some preliminary stuff like security cameras that we're working on right now that it's going to affect how we can change this ordinance. So I'm trying to get through this, but I'm anticipating working on that in the new year. It's going to be a long process before anything can be formal, but I know it's
But are we
something
giving them
that
the
court
money back, Jack?
counsel is favoring. So basically, Bob said school events are free at the park for kids. Kids' events are always welcome. Youth take priority. I motioned that Independence School District is reimbursed $500 and any ongoing youth events are free of charge. Then there was some discussion on if this is in the ordinance or not. I did not find it in our Chapter 5 ordinance, but I did find it as an SOP, standard operating procedure. So basically, the two items that need to be addressed are motioning to formally change the language in the small gathering special event permit that we approved in February to read kind of that SOP that Bob had in mind. And I provided that right here. So any event that is school or youth related is free of charge with the initial intent of Peacher Park's original land donation being an advocate for youth taking priority without being subject to said fee. So that's what I included on the top of the application. So that's one of the things we'd need to address. And then obviously that reimbursing that $500. So if we want to have more discussion on that, we can.
I think we need to reimburse that $500, right? Let's get that done.
Okay.
The question is, putting that verbiage on there is great.
Okay.
But my question then is if, is there something in the, there is something in the rules, right, that says that they have to clean it up? You know, I mean, if there's
SOP or
garbage around
something,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
huh?
yep, this is addressed in the, I didn't provide the whole application page because I thought the only changes were on the title page, so I didn't want to, you know, four more
Or you
documents.
put subject to the rules or something
Mm-hmm.
onto that.
Sure, yeah, I can, yeah,
Perfect.
I can include, I think some of that's in there, and I was just gonna have them sign off on the permit still, but just not pay the fee.
Okay. So do we need another motion to pay this group back there $500?
We do need a motion for the 500 and then the language change.
I'll make that a motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
But
There you go, Kevin.
We'll include that, though.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
then, I guess the only thing to consider for, in the future is do we want to include this in our ordinance, that youth and whatever take priority, or we just leave it off there and keep it as an SOP? Like, that's just how we work at Peacher Park is, you know, or do we formally do that?
Do you think we need it, Becky, in the ordinance? Maybe, is the
Sorry, I
open,
didn't hear your comment.
oh,
What was that?
He's wondering if we need to put it in the ordinance.
or if we just
Bob thought
continue?
it
I
was in
think
the
a
ordinance
SOP is
last
fine,
meeting.
isn't it?
I would
should be
think so,
fine.
but,
I would think so.
yeah, good.
Okay.
I guess I would like to see a very clear definition of who's gonna get charged and who isn't. So what are we considering a youth organization? There's gotta be some definition out there of some sort. I mean, what if somebody wants to do a birthday party? Well, that's a youth event, right?
Or a youth rodeo, or,
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of quinceañeras out there.
Why don't you, Jack, why don't you just bring the proposal back for what that wording might look like? And then, but let's get the $500 back to that.
How it states in the SOP that Reed made a few years ago was all 4-H scouts and outdoor youth education events/groups are free with shelters and campsites. So we can expand on that if we want to.
School,
We probably should not put that youth in there.
Okay.
After thinking of it, we should probably just stay with the school event.
Right, because
can be
youth
open
could
to
be-
everything and anything.
Well, then you want 4-H scouts, but what other groups might have,
doesn't it say et cetera or something? I mean, and then you can,
there's an out in there?
right,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
then for approval would come back here.
I
Okay.
think that's pretty good, and then, Jack, you
Because
can,
you can't possibly think of every
No.
organization and everything, I think.
no,
To your point, though, on saying school events rather than youth and
I
then
think so.
I think that's
So
a
I would-
good one.
we have-
scouting and.
We didn't vote on
4-H.
it, so.
I think you can just,
Well, there
and
might
at
be church
SOP, I
youth
think you can
groups
just
or
go ahead
something
and,
like-
Yeah, that's
Adjust
just
that.
how we
That would be,
operate
That'd be
internally.
fine.
yeah, that would
Mm-hmm.
be fine. Church.
But I
yeah.
mean, those are,
Well, why don't you use your, my little friend Chatterina and just see if you can't figure out what the different counties say about that and what wording we may be able to
Yeah.
steal for our, and then we'll do that.
We do have a new AI policy, so it's more research-based now. But that is something that we can use more as a research instead of,
You sure can. Yep, okay, so future agenda items? Oh, sorry, Rich.
So you want us to rescind our motion then and then wait till next month? Is that what, except for the $500 reimbursement?
Yes, except for the $500 agreement.
so
Yep.
bring the language back.
Bring the language back, yes.
Friendly amendment.
Friendly, yes. I take that back. I rescind my second your motion. And you're gonna restate your motion?
Yeah, then I'll restate the motion to go ahead and reimburse them the $500.
And I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's all good. All right, future agenda items. We've got the request for the proposal of the sign and the natural play area update and Petrick Park Enhancement Project. I think that
Those two kind of tie together.
kind of tie together, perfect.
How about the CapEx funds? I mean, do we need that? Is that something that's way in?
That's with the improvements. I think I'm gonna try to get some, like I said, there's 3 or 4 things that we need to tie together and put down on paper about how we're gonna go forward, so.
All righty. Okay, next meeting is January 6th.
10 o'clock?
It would be,
You've
We've
got-
got highway at 8 o'clock now on that day.
okay.
On January
Because of
6th?
a conflict
Oh,
on a week, so.
Are we able to move that then to, are we able to move that till 10?
I think
Yeah,
so.
for 10 a.m. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fine with me.
I have it written down.
Are you,
You got ahead of me.
can you make that work, Jack?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right. So we've changed that to 10 a.m.
But I think there might be a conflict here.
Oh,
I got an appointment at 1. Thank you, Lexi. You're welcome. Yeah, I think I'll be fine. I've
Okay.
got an appointment in lacrosse.
all right, wonderful. Do I need a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.